This is Jacques, President of Opus Consulting, a business performance management firm.
And this is Don Martelli, Chief Operating Officer of the Belfort Group, an integrated digital marketing and PR agency. Welcome to the Re.Invent Videocast, a real-time exploration of how to successfully manage disruption in business.
There's many reasons why businesses are disrupted: global market performance, competition, pandemic, and much more. Re.Invent will feature interviews with experts across a range of industries who will share tips you can transfer to your business. Our contacts, our friends, your friends, Re.Invent New England.
Hello, everybody. This is Don Martelli, the Chief Operating Officer of the Belfort Group, and welcome to the Re.Invent New England Videocast.
And good afternoon. I'm Jacques Santucci, President of Opus Consulting, a performance management company in New England, working with companies all around the country in New England, helping them to grow. And today we have a very special guest, a good friend of mine. He might also be from the same country where I'm from, Renaud Megard. Hey, bonjour.
Bonjour, Jacques. Bonjour, Don. How are you guys doing? So my name is Renaud Megard. I am the CEO of Nameplates for Industry. It's a company down in close to Boston, south of Boston, and we are a commercial printer and producing nameplates, faceplates, membrane switches, and all articles basically printed on plastic. So if you think about applying ink to plastic, this is what we do. This company I've started back in 1975. I bought it probably about 5 years ago now, and I acquired another company called Design Mark about 2 years ago, which was basically a competitor of Nameplates for Industry. And so they are both located down south of Boston, about 40 minutes south of Boston. And it's about 100 employees between two locations, and we are printing on plastic these days. It's very simple, but very hard to do.
So I had a chance to visit one of your facilities, south of Boston. Very impressive. A lot of compliance, a lot of process, and very organized. And then, now we're in the summer of 2020. We've been 4 or 5 months into the pandemic, and a different way of working. What has changed? What has changed since last time I came to see you and your team?
So, in fact, not much. It has been a difficult period for as all of the companies have been able to manage through this pandemic. But we are extremely big on safety. Safety is one of our values. We have a set of values that basically it's our DNA, and safety is number one. And so the priority is for us has always been safety, and will always be safety. We have more than 1,500 days of safety and non-recordable accidents in our facility, and again, that's a testament that people are thinking before doing. And so what has changed basically is that we have spaced out a little bit the employees to make sure that we obey the 6 feet distanciations. We are doing some checks of temperature every morning. We have cleaning policies every hour. The whole plant is cleaned up completely. So we have done some more regimented, I would say, cleaning measures. But overall, we are producing. We have about a good 70 people producing nameplates, faceplates, membrane switches, labels of all sorts, and all those labels need to be printed, and you have to be behind the machine. So if you have been into a printing company before, most of the machines are pretty long. It's pretty self-distanciation here is not an issue because we are more than 6 feet apart. But it's all the finishing parts that are taking a lot of manual activities, and so that's where we have been very careful, making sure people have respect the self-distanciation. But otherwise, we have been extremely busy because you can imagine the printing industry has been hurt significantly in terms of book bindings and those kind of paper printing capabilities. Everything that we do is on plastic. So what we have done over the course of the pandemic is we came up with a few ideas. We have all this finishing equipment to cut, so we not only print, but we cut, we die cut, we rotary die cutting. We do a lot of laser cutting, knife cutting. And I'm like, maybe we could get into the helping our employees to stay safer with putting shields, right? So we started to basically design shields. Never done that before, and we completely we thought about. We probably have done like 20 prototypes, testing them on our own employees. How do you like them? How do you don't like them? And we came up with a very good prototype where we can even print names of the companies on the shield itself and customize them completely for our customers. So we started to do some shields. We have done about 120,000 of those shields, and sent them to hospitals, nursing homes for free, and help them to be basically protect themselves during the month of March. So that was kind of the first, emergency measures that we have. So I was like, this is interesting because we have never done that before. So let's create a whole line of protective gears that we can do within our facilities. So I pulled all my leadership together and said, let's be creative, guys. Let's think about outside of the box here. We have never done that. We have never produce any protective equipment. So let's think about it. So we came up with labels that indicate that this room has been sanitized. We came up with some stickers that you put now on the hotel doors that are basically in the hotel, the room has been cleaned and has been fully inspected. And this is a certification. So the guest, when they enter the room, it will break the seal and basically make sure that the room has been sanitized. We came up with plenty of other type of devices that can be used, in the plants or in manufacturing facilities for self-distanciation, keeping the 6 feet distance, social distancing, keeping don't touch this surface, stay away from me, the stickers that the nurses put on me, and stay away 6 feet from me. We have done wall graphics, floor graphics. We are still doing a lot of floor graphics right now. But again, all those things we have never done before. So it's kind of interesting to me is that, hey, we reinvented ourselves into some type of new way of doing things, that basically a new line of product that we put on our website, and it's available. So we have never sold on Amazon before. So it's an experience, by the way, to sell on Amazon, because just to get your product qualified takes some time. We sell on eBay now. We've never done that before. So it's kind of interesting to us. It was kind of pushing the boundaries.
Sure. That's clearly, in my world, you call it accidental offense, right? You just sort of,
yes,
there's an opportunity. Talk to us about how, as you've started to pivot the business, I guess the communication side, especially to your customers. Now, for example, if you go to an Italian restaurant and all of a sudden you show up and the entire menu is in French, and all of a sudden it's French food versus Italian food, that's an overnight kind of thing, and it's unexpected. How have you worked through, I guess, the communications process with your employees about here's how we pivoted our business, as well as the folks that might use you for products in the past? Or how have you pivoted the communications process?
So we are heavy on communication. I have a whole marketing team that is just basically doing that days and night. We are extremely present on social media. We're extremely present on all branches of, I would say, of communication, because I believe in communication. I believe in explaining what we do. I believe in the fact that it's really critical that the people become aware of our new line of products, or it's not really pivoting for us, because our main business is still, in the manufacturing of labels and in general. But we have pivoted over the past couple of years in some other businesses, more like B2C, I call it B2C businesses. And we have created, for example, a subsidiary of our company, which is called Flexible Pack. So the flexible packaging is a big trend right now. People are buying more and more of those flexible packaging, where you can buy flour now, sugar in flexible packaging instead of those paper bags that was before. So we pivoted into that business about 2 years ago, and there's been a real success in terms of communication towards our customers, our old customers who have been always buying the same product for 25 years. And these customers, they need what they need. They don't have more needs. They just recreate a product from time to time, but most of the time it's a repeat order, not new product creations. And I give you an example. In an airliner, when you call the flight attendant, you push a button, right? You push this button to call her. This is what we make. We print on plastic this little call button, and we will make that. So airlines right now, obviously they don't sell much airplanes, right? So but before they were. So those customers are delaying their orders because the airline industry will probably come back to what it was before, or even more. But we have to think in between, what do we do? And so that's where creating new businesses that are what I call pivoting around the potential difficulties in crisis that every 10 years we seem to have is really critical. So it's a long strategic thinking that that came for us to think about what else would we do with what we have right now, and what equipment do we have. And so we have done all this homework, and it pays today, because today we are making beer labels, wine labels. We are making all type of labels that we would have never done 2 years ago. And that is really kind of a new market. Flexible packaging is really big, and so it's increasing by 28% every year. So it's really a good market to be in.
So do you think that any of the things that you've changed in the past 5-6 months are going to continue to go that direction, or you're going to have to pivot again, before the end of the year, or before the early next year?
Well, the beauty of what we do is that everything is made to order. Everything is different. So every single product we send out is customized for the needs of the customer, right? So what we want to do is we want to make our customers successful, right? And so what we are trying to do right now, and the conversation we have with our customers, who some of them are really in pain because they are not selling their product, is that, hey, have you thought about this product we have been making for you for the past 10 years? If you change that to that type of product, maybe that will sell better for you. And so we have those constructive conversations with our customers. And again, Boeing is not going to change their label or their faceplates, when you push a button. There's no point. But a lot of other customers may think differently because they want to address a market that they have never addressed before, because they are pushed by the crisis to look for alternative solutions for them. And so we are here to help them. I have, in the medical field, we are very present in the medical industry. And believe me, the need of, tests and testing has been pushing them to think outside of the box, where we have never done things before, and we have to help them to be successful in this area.
So in the previous recordings that we've done with other of our guests, we talked about the fact that people have been working remotely, that the way they've been working has been different, that maybe the change coming towards commercial real estate, where offices may have to shrink, or size of desk and things like this. It doesn't sound like it's the case at all for you, because you've been, like you were saying earlier, you've been in your office, you're in your office in your plant, your workers or your team are still within your facility. And so you haven't seen any changes that in that direction, correct?
I have put about 12% of my employees at home. So customer care, marketing, finance, they have been working from home to make space, because to keep this 6 feet distanciation, we have moved a little bit the offices and making sure that we were respecting that regulation. So about 12% were sent home, And now we are down to less than 4-5% who are working from home for various reasons, but not much. And the interesting part to me is that we are discovering that some of the, for example, I have a marketing department, as just like you, Don, you can work from anywhere. You don't need to be in a space where, close to your company. However, working on new products, when you are there, it goes much faster because when the marketing get involved with engineering and they can test right away in production, and see the result right away, you gain so much efficiencies rather than do it from a distance or from a Zoom call here. So it's the only difference. It's a speed to market that's changed, because I think the fact that they are not here next to us, slow us down a little bit. On the other hand, I think it's also an opportunity for efficiencies. We have invested heavily in automation and I would say new ERP on the cloud, new system on the cloud, CRM on the cloud, and all those investments pays today. Because if we were still with the good old system, that paper and processes all written and not being able to be able to work from a distance with it, it will not work. Right now, I have between the two plants, people can see files from each other, they can see all those things, but they don't need to be there. So the nice thing is that if there is somebody who is not feeling right on that day, they have all their laptop and they can work from home, which is really, really an important part of those things that I see as changing for us to the better, in fact, because why come if you don't feel okay?
Makes sense. I mean, obviously, it's being connected to your staff is important with a hands-on business like yours. In our business, it's very fluid because different clients, different challenges, different times. Talk to us a little bit about as you move forward in this new norm, if you will. Maybe some of the things you've learned that you want to kind of carry through on the business and, I guess, communication side, or things that may not have worked, but more importantly, I'm more interested in sort of learning the things you just either didn't think of before or just kind of happened naturally because of what you went through, and what you might use moving forward.
Well, I do think that the investment I've made in cloud ERPs, cloud CRMs are definitely great moves. And now, if you come to me to sell me something that is not on the cloud, I'm not buying, because to me you have to be able to use it remotely from anywhere and giving access to. So that's a big lesson, number one. Number two, I have been pushing my whole I would say manufacturing team to be totally paperless. So the idea here is that we are getting there, but I think what this crisis accelerated really the paperless objective, and so I think by the end of September we will be totally paperless. And so that's a huge, when you think about technology efficiencies, constant communication and synchronization of information across the whole organization with full visibility on what you make, where it is, and when shipped, it's critical. And I think the people who have not made that investment are going to be hurt. We are feeling very confident that now you can order I don't know, a set of labels for your business today. You'll be produced next 2 days, and you have it on day 3. So I mean, it is before, when I bought those businesses, it was 7 weeks before you get your labels, right? So again, all this engagement in terms of efficiencies using technology is driving us to be more successful. And I really think that if you are not thinking that way, you are going to be in deep trouble.
Agreed.
So this is interesting to see that you have jumped in the arena of this economical change and looked at the bright side and adopted new ways of working, also kind of looked at the opportunity and looked at the glass half full instead of looking at the glass half empty, right?
Yeah.
Do you see any new industries looking at this the way you're looking at it, or even new industries that you never thought about reaching out to?
Well, we are seeing. It's interesting because we are seeing a lot of new customers that would have never called us before because they just didn't need that product before, right? So today, I think the world is changing to touchless and more, I would say, ability to use your device, iPhone, Android, whatever it is, to connect with companies. And so I'll give you the example of the restaurant industry, right? The restaurant industry was absolutely not a customer of us before. I mean, very rarely. I mean, we didn't print menus. We are not in the paper business again. Now with this COVID-19, people don't want to touch menus anymore. People don't want to do that. So we are creating QR codes. We make QR codes all day long, barcodes all day long, right? We know how to do those things. So we explained to them that, hey, we can make a QR code. You put it right in front of your table. People scan it, and they don't have to touch anything, and they can see the menu right in front of them on their own iPhone or on their own Android. That is a change, right? Have you seen a restaurant with no menus?
Yeah.
Right. So that's where I think the world is changing to interacting between a service or a product and your device, and that's really where I think the world is going right now. All the young generations, they are all like that, right? I mean, they are all with their device in their hand. They will be lost without their device. So to me, I think we are going more and more into that mode where it's all about the interaction. It's not about the product, it's about the interaction. And I think it's really what's changing. This pandemic is accelerating that movement. So I'm looking right now at all what people do in the medical industry. Why a nurse will have to push, for example, if you have an IV, and she push, those actuators. So we make those right now, right? With we produce the face plates where the nurse interact physically and pushing the button to put the right amount of fluid in your veins. Well, does she need that really? If you have a QR code where she has her own phone, given by the medical hospital, whatever it is, and she clicks, I mean, she just take a picture of it and just put on her phone 20 milligrams per hour. That's it. There's no more touching the buttons on this device. So I think the device people are going to have to change the way they operate and change the way they produce, they make those products to make them much more interactive with the tool that is given to each individual, which is basically a tablet, a phone, or whatever. So I really think that's a revolution. The revolution is coming from there. Those buttons that you touch are gone. I think they are going to be going further and further. Example, right? It's just an example.
Well, great. And I have, I mean, you and I, we could talk all day long, right? And
yeah, around a glass of wine too.
Yeah, I'm glad you're mentioning it. So I know you're very passionate about French red wines.
Yes.
And do you think this pandemic's gonna have an impact on that type of industry, on the wine industry, on the import, export, and things like this? Because I know.
Question.
So in the wine industry, so I'm from a wine producing family. So we make Pommard in France and been importing for more than 25 years our Pommard in the US. We see in fact the growth in the ordering of wine. I think the alcohol consumption right now has never slowed down. It's in fact it's on the higher side because people consume at home and rather than the restaurant. So the valuation of the model of the consumption model is different, because obviously you don't buy it at a restaurant. You buy it directly from a retail store or a retailer, and you consume at home. Therefore, of course, the restaurants are heavily impacted because most of the revenue is coming from alcohol. But from a standpoint of drink and consumption, I do think that it will not change anything. It will only accelerate the learning of people who wants to discover, have new experience without having the cost of the restaurant price. So I think it will change the model a little bit there, where a $50 bottle in a restaurant is suddenly becoming a $50 bottle in a retail store, which grows in quality, obviously, because the margins is no longer there at the restaurant level. So I think it's going to be a different consumption here, and people are probably going to educate themselves. I like beers as well, and I love to test new beers I've never tested before, and it's not because of the COVID-19, but it's just the opportunity that I'm at home. I can buy 4 beers only at the retail store, home brewed locally, and I taste them. I like them. I don't like them, but at least you educate yourself, right?
That's the fun of it, right? The journey.
Yep.
Yeah. No, we're trying to keep these to 15 or so minutes. I think this has been love to hear very traditional businesses pivoting, even though you don't call it pivoting, but again, maybe it's just adjusting your strategy to you see an opportunity or a problem, and you come to the party with a solution, which is really interesting to kind of hear how you've been able to quickly turn around the business and stay relevant, which is really important, which is what this video cast is all about. So I can't thank you enough for joining us today and sharing those insights. I'm looking forward to having you back in 3 to 6 months when you've come up with another idea to solve another problem and based on printing the materials you print. So I appreciate the time.